Hi.
Wait, that's not in it?
No.
Are you sure?
Hi. We're having a little rough start today, so bear with us. But we are gonna do I guess we'll call it a pregnancy update,
Yeah.
because right now Des is 7 months pregnant,
I'm in my 7th month.
in the seventh month. So we're gonna give you a little update on what's happened over the past 7 months.
Yeah.
And then I think we're going to continue to do this moving forward.
Yeah.
Maybe once a week, and give you some updates
Well,
and
we're
see how
not
everything
gonna. I
goes.
don't want to make a video just about this.
Right. Well, it's not going to be. It'll be involved in our
Our
family video,
yeah.
our weekly family video,
Yeah.
which is new, by the way. So it's going to be uploaded before you see this.
Probably.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's not really too much that goes on until now. I feel like, Normally, I mean, we do have some things to talk about, obviously, but usually your first and second trimester, it's like just not much going on, and then towards the end is when you have some more things to actually talk about.
Right.
And my first trimester would have been super boring if we recorded it, because I pretty much laid on the couch and was sick and exhausted the whole time. So I get very nauseous.
Yes, very.
So
like, not just morning sickness. It's like all day.
It's just. Yeah, I mean,
sickness.
it's my whole life.
It's lifetime sickness.
Yes, and I feel like the exhaustion this time was a little worse, but I think it's because we already have a child.
Yeah, so there's a little bit more work involved.
So, like before, if I felt sleepy, I could just lay down, but like I couldn't do that now. So the exhaustion was different. So besides like the normal first trimester nausea, exhaustion, our first trimester wasn't like a typical first trimester, because of my medical history. So our pregnancy prior to this pregnancy was ectopic, which means that the egg attaches to your fallopian tube. It doesn't make it into the uterus. And that's common with someone who has PCOS like I do.
Right.
Ectopic pregnancies, miscarriage, infertility, that all comes with PCOS pretty much. So, that was kind of scary. Ectopic pregnancies are very serious, and it was a lot. So this time, of course, I was nervous that it was going to be the same thing, but we found out very early on that we were pregnant, which is great because that is the safest way. And my doctors were very on top of everything because they've been through this with me already. So, I had to go see her like every other day, and then I got blood work on the off days, and we went over my blood work, and as long as your HCG hormone looks like it's increasing properly, they assume everything's okay until you are far enough along that you can get an ultrasound and they can actually see where your little fetus is. So they thought I was far enough along once my HCG hormone went up to the point that they felt they would be able to see something. Mm-hmm. So they set me up to get my ultrasound done, and they were like pretty sure they saw something, but it wasn't like super visible. So I'll just like show you that little speck right there. They're like, we're pretty sure that's your baby, but we can't really see it, so come back in 2 weeks and we'll see if we can see more. And then when I went back in 2 weeks, they could see an actual little like bean in there hanging out and a heartbeat. So that was great news, because then we knew that it was where it was supposed to be. But I like, even with Lou, like we didn't have any complications prior to Lou. Mm-mm. Like we got pregnant with her easily, and that pregnancy went pretty smoothly, and I was still hesitant to like announce it. I guess I always felt like I was going to have issues. So I'm not someone to like really announce anything. So like we kept it on the DL for a while, even though we knew it was where it was supposed to be, just in case, because like my miscarriage rate is like, I forget the exact numbers, but I think you're like 4 times higher.
Wow.
In having a miscarriage. Yeah. So, we told like our closest family members and stuff, and that was it. But that was like the first trimester, really. Nothing else. No. Except for me just not wanting to do anything.
Nope.
And then second trimester, you get your 20-week ultrasound, which is your anatomy scan pretty much, which is like, it's like cute to see the baby, but it's also scary because they're measuring everything and checking everything, and like, generally, if you're going to have something wrong, that's where you're going to find out. Mm-hmm. So, like, I made Steve go to that one with me. I don't really ask him to go to anything, but the anatomy scan, I'm like, I kind of want you there just in case. And I'm glad you were there, because we could kind of tell that the ultrasound tech was
really focusing on certain things.
Yeah, she kept like going back and doing like different views.
So
and
what she was doing was using the blue and the red screen, and what that shows is the blood flow. So it shows the blue is the blood flow in, and the red is the blood flow out. So she was focusing a lot on the heart. She was focusing a lot on the umbilical cord, the placenta, all that stuff to make sure the blood flow is proper.
And like I've been through this before, and I know like with Lou, like everything was cool. So that's not normal.
Right.
Like I knew that
they kept going back to the same things.
And then when she was done, she was like, "I just have to show everything to the doctor, and then I'll have the doctor come in and talk to you." And then we were like, "Okay, why is the doctor coming in?" Because like we kind of had a feeling. So luckily, it doesn't seem like we have anything serious going on.
Why don't we tell them what it is?
Yeah.
Since you haven't said it yet.
So the umbilical cord is supposed to have 2 arteries coming out, like filtering the blood flow out of the baby to the placenta. Right. And our umbilical cord only has 1.
Right.
So she said that it's not uncommon and that she sees about 3 people a month that have that. And as long as everything looks okay with the organ, so like they checked, I think, what was it, kidneys or something, because that's near the umbilical cord where it enters the baby. So as long as like the organ's around where it enters and like the heart looks okay, then they assume that everything is most likely going to be fine.
Right.
And everything with the heart looked fine. They were like watching that blood flow, making sure nothing was going in between chambers and things like that. So the only thing that means is I will have to get another ultrasound. So at 32 weeks, I'm currently 30. So in another 2 weeks, I'll go and I'll get an ultrasound in my 3rd trimester, and they're just going to like remeasure everything. Yeah. Because she said if organs and all that turns out okay, the only other thing that it can affect is like the baby's growth. Your baby can tend to be like smaller if you have that.
If it even affects anything.
My belly has been measuring normal. So like my doctors aren't like overly concerned, and she said that they kind of just wait to see what maternal fetal medicine says, and they go from there. So I did ask, like, because if everything's fine, we just keep living out the pregnancy like normal. But I said, what if they do see that like something's not measuring properly? So my doctor did let me know that if something comes back that it looks like it's not, the growth isn't where it's supposed to be, I will be getting weekly stress tests after that to like throughout the rest of the pregnancy. So at least I know what I have to look forward to if something doesn't seem okay. But that's it. I mean, as far as like my condition, I feel like I'm doing pretty good this pregnancy. Like things could be a lot worse. Yeah. And we've realized that because we've had issues in the past. So the only other thing that I've done since we've done like that anatomy scan is my glucose test, which everybody complains about. I mean, it sucks. Like you're not supposed to eat, then you got to drink the drink, and they don't taste that great, and then you have to sit there and wait until your blood can get drawn. But like, I had a feeling that I was gonna fail it because
we failed it last time.
I failed it with Lou, and like, no one really knows if it's relative to my PCOS because PCOS does affect how you process sugars. So like, it could be, but there's just nobody does like research on it, so we don't know. But it came back and I failed it. Not that I failed it, the numbers come back high.
It was high.
It has to be 140 or below, and mine was like 154. So all that means is, just like with Lou, I have to go back and do the 3-hour one. So like, if y'all have done the 1-hour one and you've complained, I don't want to hear it. Cause
the 3-hour one's
I just have to do the 3-hour one. So what that entails is like, I'll go in, they'll draw my blood first. So like with the 1-hour one, you don't get your blood drawn first. You just go in, drink the drink, and 1 hour later, they take your blood and they see. So the 3-hour one is more detailed. They'll take your blood first to see what your level is prior to the drink. Then you drink it. And then you get your blood drawn after you finish the drink 1 hour after that, and then hour 2, and then again in hour 3. You cannot eat the whole time, nor drink anything.
And you can't eat before. No,
you cannot eat. You have to fast. So, I'll just spend half my day there and sit in a room by myself, and I guess bring headphones because I don't know what else I'm going to do. But, I go for that actually coming up very soon. So I'm sure that I'll record myself being super thrilled.
You'll get to see some of that.
So, and then fingers crossed that everything comes back normal. It did with Lou.
Right.
Everything was normal once they did that. And I don't really know what happens if it doesn't. They treat you for like gestational diabetes, I guess, which you can have just while you're pregnant. But that didn't happen to me last time. Hopefully it doesn't happen this time.
Hopefully not.
And if it does, we will take it from there, just like we'll
have more stuff to talk about.
Yeah. So, again, I'm 30 weeks pregnant. I'm due February 2nd, although they do think my due date is off by just a couple of days.
Right.
When I
with
had
any due date, it could be within a week
Well,
or so before. And
when
after.
they measured for me, it was that 2 weeks after they saw that speck in my uterus. So the baby was still very, very tiny, which that gives you like a decent estimate, but it may not be like, and not like it's accurate anyway. Lou was born 4 days post her due date. So it's just like an estimate. And when, like, if my due date were to be like February 4th and not February 2nd, it's so close, they don't change it for something like that unless it's like drastic. So we're due the 2nd, even though I'm not planning on going the 2nd. But we'll just have to see what happens. So we only have 10 weeks left, and I'm anxious.
To say the least.
Yeah. So
anxious.
I'm very anxious. I didn't feel anxious with Lou. I think it's just because of like COVID and all these.
It's the situation.
Yeah, all these rules and regulations, and just that, like, this is totally different from anything else you would ever experience in a normal situation. So,
and we'll talk about that. In another.
I've had a couple meltdowns, so I'm sure I'll have something to say one day when I'm having a full blown meltdown about my life. But it's weird. But we're just trying to be positive.
Yeah. And take it day by day.
Take it day by day and not think about it too much, even though it does feel like it's coming crashing down.
Yeah.
So
well, I'm like the day by day thinker. She's like the 2 months ahead thinker and freak outer.
Yeah. I'm a planner, and it's hard.
And you can't plan anything at this point.
It's just hard.
So it's
tough.
Yeah.
But that's it for now. So I'm not gonna do like this type
Scenario.
of update. It'll just be incorporated into other things. But I'm like, we've been like crickets for, I mean, we didn't even announce we were pregnant until 6 months.
Yeah.
So now that it's out there, I can bring you along with me. We just wanted to keep it on the DL for a while.
Yeah.
So thank you for watching
thanks.
and joining in all of our amazing and fun pregnancy details that are actually not fun at all.
Well, stay tuned. Keep watching, because we're going to we're getting back on track, and we're going to be trying to give you something at least once a week. Very family oriented, all about us and our family and what we do.
Well, everything that we used to do, we don't do right now.
No, well, we can't do videos on food and travel and all that stuff, so we're going to kind of switch it up a little bit.
We know people are still doing that, but we haven't been at all.
It's not safe.
So we're just home, and we're just going to be showing you what we do at home.
Yeah. So see you next time.
All right. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.